Hi, so let's get started. So today we are going to talk about how to create diverging lollipop chart. And in order to create that, first we must have some values. Like the first value we need to have is we must have the mean. And in order to have the mean, first I think the best is to let us take a look at the data set. So this is the data I'm having right here, TIV export, top 50 suppliers. The suppliers are actually the countries. So you can see what the 5 columns I have. I have the year, I have the export in million, and the rankings at different years, and the suppliers. So from here, first if I want to create a mean value, I must use the calculated field to define the level of detail I would like to have. So let's go to sheet 1, and what is the level of detail? If I want to create a dynamic diverging lollipop chart, which they will be able to play year by year, of course the first thing I would like to have is the level of detail. I will not fix the year. I will fix the year, sorry. I must fix the year, but I don't fix the supplier. So I will fix the year. Then from here, I will take the average. So for every year, the average export in million as my mean value. Mean export by year. Okay, so I have my mean export by year now, and that's not enough. Why? Because in order to have the lollipop, I also must have another calculated field which will be able to tell me the difference. So in order to tell me the difference, whether it's above or below the average, I must have a calculated field which will be able to tell me how to do that. So I must fix, by now I must fix the supplier and also fix the year. Then I will find my export in million and minus my mean. So if the value is above, sorry, let me see, this one, okay, we must have an average value here, average export. Okay, so now the calculation is valid. So from here, you will be able to see that if the value is more than 0, of course it will be above, and it's less than 0, it will be below. And when we put it here, we press OK, we can actually drag the suppliers to the rows. Then we will have all the 50 countries. Then we can drag the above and below the mean to the columns. Then we'll be able to see the chart on the left and right. So if we want to see the years, if we want to see the chart play by years, then we will put this year to the pages. Then when the years change, then the chart will change at the same time. And if you want to have the same the faster pace, then you can actually go to the pace here, make it move faster. But of course that's not enough, because what we want to see is we want to have a lollipop chart. So in order to have a lollipop chart, same thing, we must have two two axes. One is the bar, the other one will be the circle. So I have to drag this above and below the mean to the columns one more time. And then right now I have 2. I need to dual axis them. After you dual axis them, and on the left, you can see that I have both measures as circle, but one of it must go to bar. Then I will be able to create a lollipop. So in order to create a lollipop, I must change the size of my bar smaller and the size of the circle bigger. So this will be what I get, and from here, when I play the data, so this will be the fun of this. But of course, from here, I would like, you must synchronize the axis. Okay, that is something you may feel not necessary, but I will highly recommend you to do that if you have two axes. Must synchronize the axis. Then after you synchronize the axis, for the above and below, you may want to see different color. In order to achieve that, we need to go to all marks card, and you need to drag the above and below the mean to the color card. But because this is a continuous measure, so the color will changing, you know, from orange to blue by every step. But if you want to have two colors only, then you have to go to the edit colors and choose the step color as 2 steps, only 2 steps, and go to advanced and change the center. So the center will be 0. Whichever below, okay, is negative, then you change it to red color, because which means it's below average. And for whichever above, then you just change it to green color, okay, because that means it's big boss in the export, right? Okay, so let's go to OK here. Then you will be able to see the changes here. But of course, it's just too many, right? So you may want to drag the supplier to the filters. At the same time, you choose the top and top field, maybe by 10, okay, which is average or below the mean. And then we just press OK here. Then you will be able to see only 10 countries, 10 suppliers. Okay, so we're almost done here. We need to drag this. Okay, before we drag this to the dashboard, maybe we change the worksheet a bit. So the major changes I would like to have here is I don't want to see the axis. So I'm going to hide the header here, so you will not be able to see any headers. Then at the same time, I want to have some labeling on the value. So in order to have the labeling on the value, you may want to drag the above and below mean to the labeling here, but I want to drag it to the circle so it looks decent. So to the labeling here, okay, and let's see here. And I want it to be inside the circle. So if I want to make that happen, so I may have to change the circle size slightly bigger. Oh, sorry, that's the bar. I'm actually changing the bar. Okay, I don't want to change the bar, so I need to change the size of the circle, and I want the thing to be at the center of it. So you will actually go in, and but of course, because of my resolution settings here, so it may look different. Let's change a bit here. I want it to be what I want it to look like. Yeah, so something like that. Or maybe another choice is entire view. So if you go to entire view, then you will be able to see everything. And I don't like minus value to be shown here, because I really use color to represent it. So how to do that? I need to create another calculated field. And for this calculated field, I'm going to name it as price difference. Export difference. For export difference, so I'm going to use the above and below mean. If it's above or below the mean is more than 0, then so you will be above and below mean. Else, it will be minus above or below mean value. And okay, great. So let's take a look. If we use the export difference to the text here, the label card, so it should show us the absolute value, no matter it's below or above the mean. And at the same time, I don't want to see the grid lines, the grid. So I'm going to go to format, and inside the format lines, the grid lines, put it none. So I only see the 0. And yeah, I don't want to see other axis lines as well. So you may actually put the axis ruler as none as well. Okay, let's see. Trending line, none. And inside the borders, so I can have a lot of none here. Row divider, column divider, so you don't see all the boring lines there. And you may want to change the name of the sheet, which is Diverging Lollipop Chat. And I want to make it bold. And change the size of it, maybe changed it to 18. Slightly bigger. And I'm going to drag it to the dashboard. And make it automatic. So in that case, I will be able to play it. So when I play, all the years will change. So for every year, you can see the United States is actually on top. Everybody thought that China is the big export countries, but look at China here. But of course, these dollars is in US dollars, and yeah. So for a reference, maybe it's because the currency. Okay, so but in all means, you can see the biggest export countries is actually United States all throughout all the years. And at the same time, if you want to add any annotation, feel free to do so. Just go to the annotate and put the errors and put the page number inside here. But you may want to make it bigger, so that will be maybe 60. And by all means, you can actually change the color of it, so you are not looks huge, but you are not looks so obvious. And at the same time, same as the other video, you may want to change the background color. So in order to do that, you need to go to the format here, and you may go to the format shading, change the worksheet shading here, and you can go to more colors and pick the screen color. So that will be the color I'm going to use for my background. So everything looks great. You go to dashboard. So when you play here, the year, here you are. Yeah, but feel free to make your own changes if you want to, if you have anything in mind. Yeah, so that's all for the sharing today. Thank you for watching.